Hi, my name is Edgar, and welcome to the farm, eh? Okay, we're ready to plant our garlic cloves. Did you ever plant 8,000 garlic cloves by hand? Well, today I'll be doing just that, planting every clove myself, right here on the off-grid farm. I will also share a few tips on planting garlic cloves and bulbils, and I have even mixed up a few different soil blends to see which ones grow best for next year. Muddy off-grid, eh?
Muddy off grid, eh? YouTube channel videos are for entertainment purposes only. If you engage in any of the activities shown in the Muddy off grid, eh? videos, do so at your own risk. Consult an expert before operating any tools, machinery, etc. shown in the videos.
Today's video, I am preparing our garlic cloves to be planted. First, I have to take all my garlic bulbs, separate them into cloves, and I just started doing that. As you can see, it's not an easy job. It takes a little bit of time and effort, but I'll get it done. Here I have some of the Scapes with the bulbils I will be planting this year. So on some Scapes, I picked them when they were closed, so they never really had a chance to open up. So I'm not sure if the bulbils on these Scapes will actually grow. I'm going to keep these ones apart from the ones that dried really well. Just in case these ones don't grow, then I know why they didn't grow. I mean, I'm not sure if these other ones that dried really well will grow at all, but I'll try. And now this one, it's the growth of a bulbil. You can see it's just a bulb. It's not really a garlic bulb yet. But if I replant this, I'm supposed to get next year a garlic bulb. There are some other Scapes that I still have to harvest, so let's go and harvest those. So these are the plants that I left with the Scapes on. So the bulbils are dry already, and they dried while the plant was still in the ground. I wanted to wait for these bulbils to dry while the plant was in the ground to see if there's any difference next year when they grow compared to the ones that where I cut the Scapes off and I dried the bulbils in a different place. I'm going to harvest the bulbils now from these plants, and then I will be planting them this year. So you can see that they look like a garlic clove, a very tiny garlic clove. Kind of cool. Some of them are really big, and I'm going to try to keep track of those big ones after I plant them, just to see what kind of bulbs we get. And look how nice it is, eh? These are all the bulbils, and you get quite a bit of them in one scape. And then I just break them apart. Isn't that cool? I think it's cool. Okay, so these are all the bulbils that I got from just a few plants, eh? There's quite a few in here. It's almost like half of this can full. So timing is very important when you plant your garlic cloves. I would say 4 weeks before the first frost, it will be the max. You want your garlic cloves to grow a little bit of root so they get established in your soil before winter. But you don't want your garlic clove to actually sprout and start growing before winter. Otherwise, the chances of your garlic plants to survive throughout the winter are going to be very low. Now, that happened to us once. We planted our garlic cloves about 5 weeks before the first frost. And what happened is our garlic cloves sprouted just a tiny bit. We could actually see the plant a little bit above the soil. We use a lot of wood chips here anyway, so we cover our whole crop with wood chips. I guess the wood chips helped the plant to survive throughout the winter. So because the next year our garlic plants grew just fine. My second tip is choose the right variety for your area. When we started trying to grow garlic, we tried different varieties, different seeds, and we found out that red Russian garlic was the best. It loved our soil and weather. It grew the best, and also it was the most reliable compared to the other varieties that we tried. Spanish Roja, the Spanish Roja grew, but it wasn't very reliable. I don't think we ever even got a medium-sized bulb from a Spanish Rojas. I would recommend that you try different varieties and see which one likes your soil and weather. Now, my third tip, soil, healthy soil. We use compost horse manure to grow our garlic. You can use any kind of manure you want as long as it's compost. Garlic plants, they need a lot of nutrients. If you want those bulbs to be at least a medium size, you need to get nutrients in your soil. My fourth tip on how to grow garlic, mulching. You can use any kind of mulch, straw, leaves. We use wood chips. Wood chips for us are the best. So after we plant our cloves, we put a thick layer of wood chips, about 2 to 3 inches of wood chips. That will help to insulate your garlic cloves throughout the winter. And when the spring comes, then those wood chips will help to keep a steady temperature throughout the springtime. Also, your wood chips or mulch, whatever you are using, throughout the time where your garlic plants are growing, is going to prevent those weeds from coming out, from stealing the nutrients from the ground, from the soil, so the garlic plants have more nutrients to themselves. My fifth tip on how to grow garlic, watering your garlic plants. Garlic plants don't like to be wet. Garlic plants do not like to be wet. That's why mulch for us is very important, especially wood chips. I'll tell you a little secret. We do not water our garlic plants at all. Okay? Before we decided on what to grow in our farm, that was one of the rules. Whatever we decided to plant in here had to survive with just the water that got from the rain. And guess what? Garlic is the best for that. Garlic likes to be on the dry side of things instead of the wet side of things. When you use mulch, mulch helps you big time with this, okay? Throughout the growing season, when our garlic plants are growing, it keeps our soil a little bit moist. It's very important to have a good drainage, and that's why we build up these raised beds, because that helps the water to drain away from our garlic plant. Again, garlic plants do not like to be wet. You should definitely consider building some raised beds to grow your garlic. The time to be most concerned about your soil to be being too wet, it's in the springtime. If your area has a lot of snow throughout the winter, in the springtime when that snow starts to melt down, it will soak into your soil and it will keep your soil too wet. And chances are, if you don't have a good drainage, if you don't have raised beds, your garlic cloves will rot before they have even a chance to grow at all. Even if they have those roots already established in the soil, it doesn't matter. They will rot if they don't have good drainage to keep that soil on the dry side of things. My sixth tip on how to grow garlic. If you want to give your garlic plants the best chance to grow the biggest garlic bulbs for that year, cut your scapes early. If you do not care about the scapes, you don't want to eat them, you don't want to save them, cut your garlic scapes after the first curl. That would be probably the best thing to do. So there you go. Happy garlic growing. We're ready to plant this garlic patch that I just spread the compost on. Yeah, it's about 3,000 garlic cloves, a bit over 3,000 garlic cloves. Hopefully, it'll take me a few hours. I'll show you how I do it. Spacing for me is very important. So 6 inches every 6 inches. I have to eyeball the 6 inches in between these from this area. Let's try an experiment here. I'm going to plant this one upside down. You see here, it's upside down. Okay. I'm going to plant it upside down. Now, next year, we'll see the video and we'll keep track of that one. This one, I'm going to plant it sideways, right in there. Sideways like that. This one is upright and that one is upright. The other important thing for me is the depth. Now, my fingers are about 3 inches long. So 3 inches would be the max. 2 inches would be the minimum in my experience. If you plant your garlic clove less than 2 inches, what's going to happen is when that garlic bulb starts to grow, it might actually get exposed. It might dry out. It might grow just fine, but when you go and harvest it, it won't have any protection around the garlic bulb. Won't store very well throughout the winter. You might have to eat that bulb right away. Okay, so that's it. That's how I plant my garlic cloves. Now I just have to repeat that about what, 1,000 times? It is what it is, eh? Okay, so let's plant more garlic. But planting by hand takes time and a strong back, eh? After a few hours, you start to feel every scoop of soil. The gloves get muddy, and there's still thousands left to go, one row at a time, eh? Eventually, the rhythm settles in. You can see the rows filling, the raised bed taking shape, and it starts to feel like something bigger than just planting garlic. I finished these 2 rows. Now it's time to rake them. I like to think of each clove as a tiny promise, a big garlic bulb next year, eh? The experiments with the soil mixes and bulbils will tell me a lot next year. But for now, it's all about getting them tucked in before ground freezes, eh? And if you'd like to support the channel even more, you can join the Muddy Crew, eh? With membership. You'll get badges, emojis, and you'll be part of the journey, eh? All right, I'm done, eh? I am planting some of the bulbils that I saved. I separate them into 2 containers. This container has the bulbils that didn't produce stem, and this container has the other bulbils that actually produced the stem. I do think that the stem has something to do with the bulbils being able to grow. This time I'm going to try just that. Plant the ones that didn't grow the stem and plant the ones that grew the stem and see which one grow, if any. So let's get to it. If you would like to buy me a coffee so I can work faster, you can hit the super thank button right below the video. Keeps the diesel flowing and the garlic growing, eh? Okay, this line I'm going to plant them away from each other. I want to see if that makes any difference. These 3 lines here, I just planted them all in groups. I have a lot of bulbils, so if they all grow, I have to thin them out. Okay, so here I'm going to plant the bulbils that grew the stem. And I'm going to give them a little bit of space only on this first row because I have a lot of them. So I want to see if planting them with some space in between make any difference. The other line is going to be all crowded. The raised beds are ready after doing a few changes to my compost spreader. I noticed there's a few things that I have to cut off for it to work better. Well, it is snowing, so let's get to it. It started to work a lot better. I am done spreading the compost soil on the second garlic field. This second garlic field is going to allow me to plant a bit over 5,000 garlic cloves. All right, so this is the sixth row, the last row that I'm planting this year. And this is gonna be an experiment. I'm going to plant these garlic cloves really close to each other, about 4 to 3 inches apart. And then next year we can see if they grow better or worse or the same. Usually what I do is I plant them about 6 inches, kind of 6 inches apart, kind of like this. This time what I'm going to do, I'm going to plant them closer to each other, about 3 inches. We just want to see if there's any difference in terms of growth. I am basically crowding them on this row. I am very curious to see what kind of bulbs these garlic plants will produce for next year, eh? I finished planting the garlic cloves in the second garlic field, a bit over 5,000 garlic cloves in this garlic field. Next, let's spread the wood chips. I need to cover all the garlic raised beds with about 2 to 3 inches of wood chips. I spent days making wood chips, and I managed to fill up our dump truck with wood chips. I am hoping I made enough wood chips for all the garlic raised beds, eh? Doesn't seem to work. Well, I guess you win some and you lose some, eh? It's not really working. It's actually taking some of my garlic cloves off the ground because the front is scraping too much and it's scraping the compost. Now I'm not sure if maybe making it taller, adding some wood in here so the frame rides outside the planting area. That could be a solution. But again, I don't know. I don't really know. I might do that, I might not. Because what if it doesn't work? What if I spend so much time doing this and then it doesn't work? The problem is, if I don't do it and try it out to see if it works, then I have to spread all the wood chips by hand. And that's a lot of work too. I mean, that's a lot of work. I am spreading the wood chips and I decided to do it this way because I think this is the easiest way. Instead of driving the backhoe back and forth and using the hoe to spread the wood chips, it was taking me too long. So I decided to do it this way. So doing it this way instead of using the hoe on the backhoe, it feels a little bit faster, easier. It feels that I have more control over the thickness of the wood chip. This is the way I decided to do it. Just spreading the wood chips with the shovel. Just like this. Just takes time, that's all. It's not really hard to do. I am considering mixing this pile of rotten wood with our compost horse manure. This rotten wood, it is also known as slash, and it has been here for over 20 years. If you're wondering what slash is, a slash is the unwanted leftover logs and branches that loggers leave behind. I decided to experiment with this pile of rotten wood before I mix it with our compost horse manure. Okay, I got some of that slash in my wagon, and I will mix it with some compost horse manure as good as possible. So let's put it back on the row, and I will plant some garlic cloves in it. Next year, if I see that my garlic plants grow just fine, then I will proceed to mix some of that slash with our compost horse manure with the backhoe. I am also doing another soil mix. I am mixing some of our wood chips with our compost horse manure. I noticed when harvesting our garlic this year, 2025, that some garlic bulbs had this cluster of wood chips and compost attached to the roots, and they grew considerably large. I will mix it as good as possible. Let's put the mix back on the row, and I will plant some garlic cloves in it. I also planted some garlic clove directly into the oiled slash or rotten wood, just to see if they grow at all. Also, I planted some garlic cloves in this pile of topsoil. This is just natural topsoil from our land. But I am wondering if this topsoil has enough nutrients in it to grow some garlic. I am also considering mixing this pile of topsoil with our compost horse manure as well. 8,000 garlic cloves planted by hand, and a few experiments ready to test next season. Stick around for the next one, and if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button for more off-grid farm adventures, eh? And if you missed the video where we built these raised beds, go check it out.